Okay, thanks again, Tuan, for doing the presentation slides. Uh, so I'm gonna keep showing ideas for now. No specific flow. So I can go ahead and talk about hey, our team did a research about serverless computing, and we're checking back-end security and quality analysis using a serverless computing with the three cloud providers. Outline is why serverless computing, architecture for web apps, security and quality analysis, and then the services that we look into in those three cloud providers, and a summary. Okay. So why serverless? So just to talk about serverless, serverless doesn't really mean you don't have a server. Yes, you do have a server, but what happens is you don't need to provision and maintain your own servers. That itself is a very definition of serverless. So what's the advantage of doing serverless then? But before that, we should go what are the traditional solutions for doing a, let's say, a web application architecture or framework. So on-premise solution is basically your server is in your own company. And what's hard with that is it's very time-consuming, expensive, hard to scale, and again, difficult to maintain. So again, with the traditional, you have to maintain your own business logic, your security, your backend code, and database. Okay. So again, why serverless? Because again, it brings down the cost, usually 1/10 of the cost of maintaining your own. And aside from that, it frees up resources for the company so that the company focus on their business logic. Okay. It has the ease of provisioning, operating, and maintaining. Sorry, this is my alarm for the car park. So, and with this one, again, serverless is basically managed service. So you have third parties managing those services like Kafka, other services. I'll look into it. Limitations though, again, controlling limit on infrastructure because again, this cloud provider sets your limit. But most of them do have this, okay, you can go as high as you want, but again, the cost will be as high as you want. Okay. Next is you're always logged in with you would that, oh, serverless should be, we can just pick and choose different technologies, different cloud providers, but no. It's going to be so hard to maintain. So you're forced to be in one cloud service provider. And another one is an impact of cold start. So like let's say the AWS Lambda, it's a function as a service. If you don't keep using it, it will go to a sleeping mode, which is not being accessed, triggered, and what's the correct term? Triggered, yes. And then if you want to try to run it again, you would have this latency, which the user will experience. So another way to mitigate cold start, you have to keep that service or function warm. Keep hitting it. Another thing that's bad is moving the cloud would directly expose our servers to the internet. But again, these cloud providers have way more better security than our own in the on-premise. So as you can see, this one is the front-end logic. If you're doing a serverless computing, you're just going to manage this. And everything else, your security, back-end logic, and database is going to be handled by your third-party provider. So as for our architecture that we use in our paper, this is using AWS services. So you would see this client, and the static files, JavaScript, HTML, CSS is stored here, and we would use our CloudFront as a content delivery network, again, to improve the performance for the user. And another thing is we have this API gateway to control all the API coming in. The API gateway will route to specific stuff. And with the help of IAM and Cognito, they all help with the user management. So this one, IAM, helps with the identity and access management, and the Cognito helps with creating your user authentication, the pool, the database for that. And again, AWS Lambda is your function that, let's say, it triggers and retrieves the data from your DynamoDB, which is a NoSQL NoSQL database. CloudWatch itself is just a monitoring tool. It's great because most of the time we don't have any idea what's happening out there with our services that we chosen. So CloudWatch helps us with monitoring how many resources we've used up, performance, is there any failure, is there any error?
Is it just AWS architecture or every serverless somewhat?
So you can spin up similar architecture with different cloud service providers, but some of them may miss some components, but there is a workaround.
And why do you need two different? Do you have to have two different lambda for the IAM and the Cognito?
Again, lambda functions could have, like, let's say this lambda retrieves this specific table, and let's say this lambda retrieves a different query. You can do that, or you can put it in one. And correct me anytime if I'm wrong, okay? Yeah, we'll talk about it. So one of the things is we try, because we have tons of them, it's so hard to keep track. Even employees of these cloud providers have a hard time keeping track of their services. So here's a way to just compare and what is the equivalent of each services. So AWS has a storage service called S3, and the equivalent for that would be cloud storage for Google Cloud Platform, Azure Blob for Azure. And API Gateway would be Cloud VPN Gateway, and so forth. Go ahead.
Later, when you go to that presentation, people over there, they don't understand what S3 means, what VPN means, and then also you needed to explain it. Also, left-hand side, cloud provider independent from cloud provider. Left-hand side put into the something.
Oh yeah.
Academic term.
Yeah, storage as a service.
Yeah, something like
that.
an academic term. And then this is what those companies are saying. Why? Yeah. Those companies will never use academic term because they want to sell their product.
Yeah.
That's why it becomes academia then. So we'll put that.
So another thing that I think maybe we should put this on the further down in the slides, so we can talk about like storage as a service, database as a service, stuff like that.
Yeah, something like that. Even this is very good. I love it.
Okay.
The left-hand side, you have one more color. It shows the academia term. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So storage as a service. So on our research with AWS S3, usually S3 is your storage. Think of it like your Dropbox or Google Drive. You just put stuff there, static files. Thing is, this bucket has 4 encryption methods. One is data address inside the volume, all data moving between the volume and the instance, which is encryption in transit. And all snapshots created for a volume, all volumes created for these snapshots. With the help of CloudFront, our content delivery network, you can help set up your secure sockets layer, the SSL, meaning your SSL and then HTTPS. There's no limit number of prefixes in a bucket. I have yet to look more on what the prefix is. For the cloud storage, again, data is encrypted and located in the server side. It is also encrypted at rest. It uses the AES, Advanced Encryption Standards. And the best practice to use this is have distinct credentials per user. Always use the transport layer security, hypertext protocol secure library, and revoke authentication credentials if an application does not need access anymore. I think this is too much. And last is create a bucket name with names difficult to guess. Next is with Azure Blob. It's still in the storage service. This one is already given. Like, yeah, together. Correct. Yeah. Okay.
Are you guys saying that put those together?
Yeah, in one slide, maybe just as another table.
Also later you have to go to the Steve Jobs approach.
Yeah.
A lot of a picture. That's a state.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So maybe I guess let's say Azure Blob and then ES. Let's get that. And these are not yet finished, but we're going to talk about also the authentication and authorization and the two cloud providers. IAM, the equivalent of AWS IAM, Azure Active Directory. This one has a different structure compared to the two other ones because the AWS and Google Cloud, I think both of them is policy-based. And this one is resource-based. Okay. And the computing service, the equivalent is Cloud Functions. Azure Functions, equivalent in the Azure. DynamoDB, Cloud SQL, Cosmos DB. Cosmos DB. It is very essential that we have this logging monitoring services so we can improve our architecture, our code, our performance. And we have Google Stack Driver for GCP, Azure Monitor for Azure. So we have yet to put some of the contents for those one, but I kind of want to know how usually this paper presentation is done and what are the content, what is the expectation of the audience? That's the
They are
question.
faculty member, majority.
Faculty member.
Also, they assume you are faculty.
Oh, okay.
If you are not saying anything, they assume, or you are teaching some university, that you know this one. Normally, I'll cover up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, definitely you'll cover up like some of the Q&A.
Yeah, the main point is to stay with your themes. Okay, you
Okay.
use that in terms of software assurance, in terms of software quality, when you are talking. One chart, you compare them with academic term, you are doing that. That's the
okay.
research purpose.
Okay.
Yeah, later we'll let you have a
We
more
should. We should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would ask per term and say, what does this really mean? And what's the use case? What's the limitation? And how do we mitigate this? Because that would be a better presentation.
And you can give a try presentation. We can do for it.
Yeah, even here, the message is, did you see that, this is a classroom project? Usually classroom project cannot be published because the quality is not high enough. But this one, they really worked hard. And we need, after class, we did a couple of revisions that I sent this one to the international conference. The cybersecurity went long. Then they accepted this one. Means they liked this kind of quality. I don't know whether it can be journal paper or not. They accepted this one as presentation. Even means we test it. Then those are things are going to be your resume. They put in there. This is the research. They have to. Also, you didn't mention that you are researching problem here. Always you have to say what problem are you?
Yeah, should be on the very first slide. We can open the paper for a quick.
To keep more class, there will be more people.
No. Usually capstone usually be the paper. Yes, and letters. Yeah. Usually, if this one is sometimes past the early board because we don't have implementation. Usually, computing area they want the implementation. They want to see the development system.
So
no, first they should accept this paper. If they accept the paper, then they are inviting us to present here. Your own money. This is the whole paper. Yes.
So I think one of the questions I can ask right now is it definitely we should put the architecture, right?
Yeah.
Discuss about it and maybe discuss more about what is a comparison with the traditional architecture.
Right.
Side by side.
This one is you are using too much Amazon.
Yeah.
So we need even you can make another high level with our own terms, academic terms.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So instead of this services, we can say, oh, this is a
Client is
SAA
academic term. Client is
Yeah.
academic term.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But S3 is one. cloud storage or some kind of a general term people understand.
I made this for myself.
Yes.
I assume you guys will make other things, but you didn't.
It's fine. We have limited time.
But here I'm encouraging you, all over you, think of that, okay? This is not project. Project is you implementing, you earn the skills. Then you stop it. Then this is doing the project to solve problem, nobody solve. So whatever you are doing here is a cutting edge. That's my main point. So it's the cutting edge. So then we go to the first, we want to say what we did. Then through this one, those people, they can advertise themselves through this research paper. So also the other one, I'm making the video, faculty who has a PhD program, they are looking for a PhD student. Then I can advertise my student. And I can tell them, usually, in this case, a PhD program is fully paid. If you get a job, those are things, if you are qualified, that means while you are studying, you are making the money. CDU does not have that model. CDU is just you accept them, have a success. Yeah. To come here?
Yes.
No, we didn't ask the GRE, right?
I didn't do it here.
Yeah, here we are not asking.
I took my GI.
Good, yeah. You can get the that one, yes. A lot of university, ours is we are not put the filtering in entrance. We put the filter in exit point. Some people, they don't use that one wisely. So here why I
Raise the minimum.
increase the bar. Hey, why didn't you publish paper?
So again, just to note, like this part, put it like this, because we want to do like flexible iterations and not work on a lot of things and then, oops, this is wrong. It's better to have this is first and then let's see. Because I don't want to stress one, like making a lot
If
of
you are
stuff.
doing the capstone, I'm encouraging you. Be first those I'm asking you. The big problem, cutting edge problem, buy one, get two. Through the project, you can earn the skills. Through this research, then certain point you may go to the PhD program. Let's say MIT wants you fully paid. You don't want to go? That's way better than any of the jobs. Even they are paying a lot. Even you work a company, then some university, they are paying $60,000 in terms of a monetary value for 9 months. Usually universities are doing 9 months. Yeah. So that's why I'm telling my students, at certain point you want to go back to the home country special. Usually they learn, they want to see PhD. I'm not saying you go to the, but there's also another option. Sometimes you're an international student, you cannot find any job, then you, what do you do? That's also
But
another
this
option.
PhD gives you a stipend.
Like a allowance.
Okay, so if you are done, let me have a chance
Yeah.
also.
No, I don't think we have enough time today.